Hey guys, what's up? Jared here. Decks and Dice, ramblings of an LGS owner, holding the phone, walking around, just because I can. You know, didn't feel like sitting to do a video. I hope you can hear me alright. It's the phone, it's not the microphone on the PC. So, Anyways, I don't really know what the subject matter of this video is. I haven't done a video in a few days. If you follow us on YouTube and all that, yeah, we had a stomach virus hit the house, and then you play catch up with stuff after you've been out for a little bit. No matter how much catch up it is, it's still catch up, etc., etc. So here I am. During that time, I watched some videos, obviously. Pokey dropped a pretty interesting one. I'm gonna see if I can't. No, this is as good as it's gonna get. Anyways, so he dropped a little like tough love video the other day, and I really enjoy videos like that because that's pretty much just my style. And I think a lot of people need to hear that. They need to experience that. They need someone with an actual, large enough following from time to time to be like, hey man, look, stop sucking, stop being a little bitch. Shit happens, deal with it. This isn't glamorous. This isn't, fun. This isn't all the time educational. This isn't hanging out with your friends, jamming games, etc., etc., And I think it's really cool that people of his stature and Rudy's, can actually just do that and not catch too much flack about it, But if some small little, channel such as mine does that, then I'm just an asshole, essentially, which is fine. I mean, kudos to you, you're about 60% correct, right? But, it also just got me to thinking about, well, maybe, and I know this is a big maybe, but maybe people don't actually, believe what I'm telling them, or maybe, again, because I'm not a huge creator or whatever, they're like, this dude is just, being a dick. Like, why should I listen to him? He's a nobody, right? And, okay, cool. Those are valid. 100% valid. However, I believe I'm speaking from a place of where most of you are. And when I say most of you, I'm not necessarily talking about, basement dwelling cardboard slingers. Most of you probably own an LGS or something like that. You probably have the day-to-day little struggles that I have and instances and so forth, and I believe since I'm kind of in the trenches with you, what I say doesn't resonate with a whole bunch of the newer people that have been around lately, because most of them just seem to be more focused on the positives of things, building their own little, I don't want to say echo chamber, because that's kind of mean, honestly, but, building their own little community, we'll say, of just Yas, King, Queen kind of stuff, and, everything you do is awesome, please, just kissing butt and everything, right? I don't like that. I don't want that. So please, by all means, interact with this and tell me I'm an asshole or whatever. So it's fine. I don't really care. I guess the point of me bringing any of that shit up is that I probably speak from more realistic, realistic outlook or whatever, scenarios, situations, whatever. And a lot of people don't like it because I'm typically saying or telling you what most of you are thinking in the back of your head, and you're not wanting to actually verbalize because you're scared that you're going to piss people off. You're going to piss people off anyways, man. It's just a thing. It's going to happen. You might as well piss them off and just let them know that this is actually what you think. This is actually how you feel about the scenario, right? Because then, on a long enough timeline, you weed out the, fair weather friends, the Yas King kind of shits, You weed out the fakes, you weed out the leeches, the parasites, the whatever you want to call them, that are only there because you benefit them in some way, shape, form, or fashion, right? But anyways, I guess one of the other points in this was, let me sign in my little POS here, was to just show you guys that, one, if you can't tell from the backdrop, I am a legitimate LGS. I do this shit day in, day out. This is not a day job, a part-time job. This is not something I do after I come home from my job that makes $60K a year plus or whatever, and I just do it for shits and giggles. None of that shit. This pays my bills. This feeds my family. This pays the bills at the shop. This entire fucking thing is my source of income. Alright? But I'm about to show you some numbers, because apparently numbers are a thing that everyone seems to like to care about, even though, full disclosure, I've done a video or two on this before, and I'm going to say this again, where you should not give a shit about my numbers. About the numbers I'm about to show you, they're not yours, okay? You should not care about my numbers, Rob's numbers, Mason's numbers, Phantom's numbers, RAR's numbers, fucking Pokey anybody. You should not give a shit about their numbers, okay? They're not yours. It's not where you stand. But, let me turn this around. Okay. But, I guess they help prove some kind of legitimacy or something like that. But anyway, so, last month, in June, this is what we did in store. We did $32,280. That $2,187 is the taxes, and that is part of what my state expects me to pay them back on the 20th of each month the following month. That does not include taxes collected from TCG or Manipool. Over here is what I did on TCG Player last month. Our net sales, $13,573. So, and then the minus fees is actually what we took home, right? So, all together, because I only added up the 11,000 mark, because that's what we made. I wasn't going to go for just gross sales on TCG Player for some reason. Don't know why, I just chose not to. That is what we made last month, is $46,000. Now, flip back around. To a lot of you, that's not impressive. And I get it. You're leaps and bounds beyond where I am. Even if you are just selling shit out of your basement or whatever, you hit the lottery somehow and you do better than me. Congratulations, like seriously, no fucking shade. Just, I know, I hear the eye rolls and the laughter and stuff from that crowd, okay? I hear it up here, it's there, we all know it is. Congratulations, you're better. I also know from, like Pokey says, he watches everyone. I have a tendency to watch a lot of people too, just for shits and giggles, because what else am I going to do while I'm doing stuff at the shop or scheming up things to do for the shop or whatever, when I'm here or at the house or whatnot. But anyways, I also know that $46,000 in a month, and that's not including my mana pool. If I include my mana pool, we're probably looking at $55,000-ish a month for last month, give or take, because we do like 6 to 10, just depends on the month with mana pool, right? So anyways, we'll exclude mana pool. No offense, mana pool, love you obviously, but we'll exclude mana pool just for now, even though it would add we'll say it'll add 5K, okay? We'll just say 5K. So 51,000. I should have added mana pool in retrospect. I do know from watching most of you, that is shit that you do in a year. Okay? And that is no shade. That is no punching down. That is me not picking on you or any of that shit. Right? It's just me showing that even though you may not like me or agree with what I have to say or how I have to say it or any of that stuff, that apparently the way I do things and the way that I see things and all that works. And I believe that most of you understand that it works. You are just too scared to say typically what the fuck I'm saying about certain subjects or whatever. And I believe that kind of needs to stop, guys. Because, like Pokey Annie said, I hate bringing him up, but he's the most recent one I just watched, like yesterday or whatever. Like I said, with his little tough love video. You know, he said something about kids in the Pokemon sphere and everyone doing stuff for kids, giving them free shit and everything, and it's like the kids just expect that now when they go to conventions, or they expect tripping over shit, or they expect free stuff just because, you know, I'm a kid, right? I believe most of us have given most of the demographic that watches this kind of stuff, or even like hopeful customers or whatever, we have kind of given them the same expectation. Oh yeah, hey, shout out there to damn, good old PCG. See, we have the stuff in the shop. We like to send stuff there. I think it's given people an expectation of not just like free shit or whatever, but the idea that we are all just jovial, happy, everything is right, no matter what you say, you're gonna be right, you know, jovial fucking chuckle fucks, essentially. You know, when people are like, you know, the customer is always right, they leave out the other part of that whole thing, which I believe is the customer is always right in the choice of tastes and options or something like that, not the customer is always right. So yeah, I believe that a lot of us have willingly or unknowingly or whatever cultivated a sphere of pampered little bitches, just to be blunt about it. And that's our fault, you know? And I'm not really sure when the hell that happened, but it did, somehow, some way. However, I will say that, at least locally, I don't see that much of that in person. I really don't. Most of the people that come to my shop will, shout out Taco Man, will just as quickly tell me to go fuck myself as I will tell them to go fuck themselves, in that friendly ha-ha kind of way, you know? People actually in person, again, locally here, seem to actually appreciate me being a dick. And I mean by being a dick as in like the most respectful way possible, right? Not just being a dick to be a dick. When I have to decline something, I'll explain why I have to decline something. When I institute something, I have to explain why I instituted something. When we get shafted on orders or something, I explain exactly what the fuck happened. You know, I am probably one of the most transparent LGS owners around, for better or worse. And I get, after replaying some of this, what I've been saying in my head over and over, it just kind of sounds like I'm having a whine, bitch, and complaining session, but no. It's something that needs to be said. Because I do believe that a lot of people who end up in this sphere wanting to do stuff like this or whatever think that it's all fun and games, that you're gonna have nothing but fun. This is gonna be the most exciting thing ever until you start doing it and you realize you're only gonna make $100 that week or maybe that month. I can't tell you how many like vendor stuffs that I see, and I know there's a lot more that this doesn't apply to as well, but there's enough to where I see I went vending this weekend and I made less than minimum wage, right? There's going to be a time where, and it's going to be relatively soon, considering the abundance of products and stuff that I've been receiving with as far as Pokemon goes, and getting pretty much everything that I ask for with Riftbound and everything. It seems like most people are getting their shit together as far as like quantities and stuff. Not great, but a shit ton better. So what I'm going to see, what I'm going to foresee, into the future or whatever, is that in probably another year, maybe two, this whole thing of paying 80-90% for sealed products or singles or 75% or whatever is going to just be fucking ridiculous, because there's going to be enough of it to where no one's going to care. And that's a great thing. It really is. It will dry up the fair weather dick nuggets that are in this just for the quick flip. It will weed out the fair weather, I'm just here for the clout kind of people. Let's see if I can ride this, build up enough to, make ad revenue, and we'll ride this for however long it goes, and then once it fails, they'll vanish like a fart in the wind. Shit, that might even be me too. Even though this is not monetized or anything, I'm talking about the shop in general. I mean, that might be fucking me too. You never know, right? But I guess it's just time will tell. But I really do believe in the next year or two that that's just gonna be what happens. There's gonna eventually be a product correction, and it'll go back to normal, what it used to be. Sure, things might end up being slightly more expensive than what they were and everything, but that's just kind of what happens when you end up on the other side of the bell curve most of the time. It's just life. But when this happens, not if, but when, I would love to see who is left. And this is not me throwing shade at anybody either, whatever the fuck you guys may or may not think. Because if you are left and all that good stuff, it means you are actually here. Oh damn, that's still in there. You're actually still here for the long haul. You are legitimate. You are actually wanting to fucking do this. Like, congratulations, like, no shit, congratulations, welcome to the club kind of thing. But in order for that to happen, you gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet. And I'm hoping that happens way sooner than later, guys. Because I have a really sneaking feeling, suspicion, whatever you want to call it, just about the space in general, to where 90% of these people are not authentic, and we all probably already know this. Everyone else has probably already said this, but I'm just saying it on record, and it'll be kind of cool to see what the fuck happens. And even if I get demolished and end up having to close the doors or whatever, I'm still going to be like, oh hey, that that fucker over there was a bastard. You know, he wasn't authentic, wasn't legitimate. He was just a fair weather scalper guy or whatever, you know? So, I don't even really know where the hell I want to go with on the rest of this video. I'm just walking around, you know, looking at the shop. Just thought I'd do a random little video about this. Don't even, like I said, don't even know what else I want to say. Other than, I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me, and I'd love to hear why. You know, start a conversation down below and all that good stuff, but I really do believe that the tough love thing needs to happen, because now that I think about it, I don't know if it would only take a market correction, not even a crash, guys, but a correction, for a lot of these people to just tuck their tail between their legs and fucking leave, you know? I think that if most of them were told hard truths, or whatever you want to call it, they would feel so like attacked and have their feelings so hurt and everything that they'd probably vanish, because they didn't cultivate the kind of sheep that they thought they could cultivate, you know? As terrible as this sounds, okay? Let me preface it with that. As terrible as this is going to sound, it's just something that I have noticed throughout my entire life of dealing with lots of different, colorful individuals. We'll say it that way. Because I've had it on both sides, you know. I was a corrections officer for about a year, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, whatever. And I also did a really large stint in the world of the people that were incarcerated. So like, I'm fairly well versed in fuckery and noticing fuckery when I see it, and being able to smell the bullshit miles before it approaches, right? So what I mean when I say this is, again, I mean this in the most respectful way possible. A lot of people will look at you or other people as resources, not as legitimate friends, colleagues, community, or whatever. And that's fucking terrible, but it's a fact of life. And you'll probably never, ever, ever know 100% until something happens to show you what that person actually thought or thinks. And the market correction would be a catalyst for that, but I do believe that people just telling people, hey man, you're full of shit, I mean, by all means, tell me I'm full of shit. I don't really care, you know? And they probably won't care either, but if enough people tell them that they're full of shit or whatever, and they're trying to do this community grift, they're gonna care, because their resources is what they're, the people, the resources is what they're after. And if they can't get that, they'll disappear. So, anyways, you guys have a good one. I'll talk at you later, and, you know, as always, life is not a dick. You don't have to take it so hard. You're a trash can, not a trash can't. And, you know, just by all means, unload on me in the comments if you want to or whatever. I don't. I enjoy the engagement. I like the conversations. And if you liked my random BS here, drop a follow and a like, man. Yeah, you guys have a good one.